This woman suddenly took off her hair clip and placed it on her shoulder. Jack took the card and smoothly slipped under the table in the control room. Using the card, he opened the protective cover and swiftly took a valuable chip worth millions. He stuck it on the back of a playing card and returned the steel door, acting as if nothing happened. Unexpectedly, the bank manager noticed something was wrong and immediately ordered a body search. Jack skillfully kept the chip hidden from the security's view. When security bent down to check his lower body, Jack clipped the card in his arm and smoothly threw it to Daniel during a turn. Daniel quickly concealed it in his sleeve. When security checked the other arm, Daniel tilted his body, letting the card slide down the sleeve and holding it with his skinny belly. Then, he discreetly let the card slide down his pants. Meanwhile, Alma used the opportunity to stick the card to her shoe, then pretended to stumble, picked up the card, and placed it behind her hair during the inspection. Turning around, she quietly hid the card in front of her chest. Even if security wanted to check her innermost clothes, Alma confidently removed her clothes, skillfully keeping the chip concealed. This woman pulled her bra for inspection while cleverly keeping the card concealed. When security turned away, Alma flirted with him by patting his butt and secretly stuck the card to his belt. Merritt smoothly took the card, pretending to chew gum, and used a rubber band to secure the card. He spread his arms like Daniel did, and Daniel pulled the card back with the rubber band. However, this odd move caught the attention of another security guard, and they immediately surrounded Daniel. But after a thorough search, they found nothing suspicious. Daniel had already replaced the lining of his suit with the color of the card. Daniel then tossed the card to Merritt, who passed it to Alma. Alma quickly threw it to Jack, but to leave the place, they still had to go through a metal detector check. So Jack discreetly passed the card back to Merritt, and when others were being checked, Merritt took it out from his hat, then made Jack retrieve a wallet with metal items inside, causing a distraction. Daniel pretended to make a noise with his belt, and Merritt seized the chance to throw the card into Alma's coat. Like that, the whole group successfully bypassed all security systems and secured the AI chip worth $1 billion.
The man's body had fused with the tree, and strangely, he was still alive. These kids were scared enough to make your phone's third emoji. Vincent cautiously approached and discovered a laser gun embedded in the tree, clearly from hundreds of years in the future. Suddenly, the man grabbed Vincent and begged him to end his life. Vincent was too afraid and passed the gun to Tom, who took the gun and aimed at the man's head, but quickly backed off. However, they soon discovered that the man had no pulse, and testing with a phone revealed no moisture on the screen. At this moment, the observant boy noticed numerous needle marks on the man's hand and a medicine bottle left on the ground. It was obvious that the man had been injected with a lethal dose of poison, but what was the truth behind all of this?
Open settings. Activate self-exploration mode.
This is a humanoid wife model, not only customizable in appearance, but also obedient to all commands from the owner. For just 100,000 bucks, you can get the one you've been dreaming of. Bella is the AI company's finest creation, and the first person she saw when she woke up was her owner. Every robot has to learn how to walk, and Bella stumbled into her owner's arms after taking just 2 steps. This made William, who had just lost his wife, feel happy again. After teaching her for a day, he couldn't wait to activate the bedtime mode, teaching her various skills. I know not everyone likes to see this stuff, so I'll skip over that part. After a night of playing, Bella was almost out of battery. Just as she was about to charge up, she suddenly saw a man wearing a mask outside the window.
This man pointed his finger at a bird, silently said something, and then the bird fell down suddenly. His friend was shocked enough to make the second emoji on your phone. The guy acted mysterious and didn't give an explanation. Later, he went to the underground garage and acted like a conductor, controlling the cars to start and crash. Oh my god, so unhuman. Then, the guy took off his clothes, and his body turned into a machine-like state. It turns out, one day, while he was in the park, an alien spaceship landed in front of him and transformed his body. The other day, when he saw his friend being bullied by a school bully, he made the bully kneel and apologize with just one hand. Just as he was about to point his finger at the bully, his friend stopped him in time. But the darkness within him was slowly awakening because of his superpowers.
This is the way from heaven to drink. Bottles of liquor worth millions, poured into an inflatable swimming pool, soaking in it, and then sprinkle a circle of salt. Look at his face. Does it look just like the third emoji in your phone? The reason this boy dares to be so carefree is because he's the last person on Earth. In 2020, there was a virus crisis that wiped out everyone around him, but Phil managed to survive. To find companions, he traveled all 50 states of the USA, shouting in 8 languages, but couldn't see a soul. He had no choice but to leave a sign saying that Tucson had living people and then returned home. On the way, he spotted a fancy mansion, broke in, and made it his own. priceless world-famous paintings, dinosaur fossils from museums, and even golden man stolen from some famous actors became his decorations. He blasted the supermarket doors open, filled his shopping cart with junk food, and made sure to stock up on mental hub, bringing it all back home.
This dude just left home, and bam! Some street thugs toss a grenade at him. Dude's thinking of waiting for the perfect moment, but guess what? The grenade bounces right back at him. But the guy doesn't kick the bucket. Next day, he's back to his usual routine. First, he greets his pet goldfish, then throws on his colorful outfit, swings for a black coffee fix, and heads off to work at the bank, waiting for the robbers. When they start shooting up the joint, the security guard smoothly disarms, gets down, and starts chatting with him. Turns out, they ain't real people, but NPCs from a game. They're just robots for players to complete missions. Only the Cool Shades crew are the actual players. So one day, this guy spots a chick in leather pants. Instant crush, right? Dude can't take his eyes off her leather pants. Little Black rushes over, like, bro, she's a Shades-wearing player, we can't mess with them. But Gabe's all like, nah, gotta break the routine, and tries to hit on the girl. Long story short, he gets knocked back again.
This dude's skin is disappearing, and soon he'll be a see-through guy. With intense burning, his skin turns transparent, revealing his muscles, and then the muscles vanish too. His organs become clear, leaving only a moving skeleton. With his colleagues staring in astonishment, his bones also gradually disappear, and he ultimately becomes completely transparent. His colleagues are amazed, but they don't realize that being invisible means he can do whatever he wants, and they'll be in a nightmare. That night, the others leave the lab, leaving a woman to observe the Hollow Man. But when she falls asleep, the door slowly opens. The Hollow Man calls out, checks if she's asleep, then touches her hair very slowly and even tries to unbutton her shirt. Luckily, she wakes up and checks the thermal monitor, but the Hollow Man is already in bed. The next day, she tells her colleagues, but they don't believe he would do that. Until another colleague senses someone next to her in the restroom. She has to quickly put on thermal goggles to check if he is around.
This monster can imitate humans. A woman lies down on the ground, and the monster mimics the same action. It then hugs a doll with its body, catching the attention of a female scientist, Tina. Out of curiosity, Tina decides to closely observe the creature. She cautiously approaches the monster and tries to touch it, but unexpectedly slips on the slime. The monster is frightened and grabs Tina's leg, pulling her inside. The commander swiftly activates a flash, frightening the monster and rescuing Tina. For further examination, Tina observes the monster feeding as soldiers bring a prisoner to a cage. Seeing the monster, the prisoner starts to struggle. In the next moment, the monster leaps onto the prisoner, pulls off his head, and eats it. Next time, Tina can't bear it and tries to block the monster. The monster adopts an aggressive stance. Tina begins singing, calming the monster down. As the creature listens to the melody, the prisoner tries to escape, alarming the monster once more. It quickly jumps on the prisoner and finally devouring him.
On an airplane, a man suddenly began to have a nosebleed. A pretty woman asked him to tilt his head back, but the man went to the bathroom instead. He hastily took out a bottle of liquid, dabbed a cotton swab in his mouth, then placed it back in the bottle. The liquid instantly turned red. Soon after, his teeth began to fall out. The horrifying screams from the restroom startled all the passengers. The man knelt on the floor in huge pain, thousands of sharp spikes growing from his back, tearing his shirt apart. Just as the flight attendants hesitated whether to break in, a monstrous creature burst out. The real hell has arrived.